Hello, everyone, and welcome to By Design by Dr. Erika, a show focused on highlighting amazing women who are stepping out of the box, saying screw the expectations of society, and essentially living the life that they were designed for. Today on our show, we have another amazing guest. We are joined by the lovely Charissa Quade. Now, Charissa is amazing because she has taken on the challenge of one of the scariest words in the world that people don't like to talk about: money. Charissa is the founder of Change Your Finances, and she's on a mission to help women experience peace of mind about money. And through her money management skills, Charissa has been able to eliminate her debt and also pay cash for her husband's degree. I needed you around when I was in school to do that. She has really mastered this money beast, and she's helped over 1,500 women create better financial futures. And today she's going to share a little bit with us about her journey and maybe even share a few pearls about finances and budgeting. So, Charissa, welcome to the show.
Dr. Erika, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. And you're totally cracking me up about the money. But hopefully by the end of today's talk that you guys will feel a little bit more relieved and it won't be quite such a bad word that we're talking about.
So taboo. So taboo. And you know, the funny thing was I had something planned for you when we started the show, because I wanted to do something special. And I wanted to say, I was going to do Charissa, welcome.
Well, thank you. And that's a special surprise.
Yes. Now, for those that can't see, maybe listening only, I just signed Charissa's name and told her welcome via ASL. And you may be wondering, why is Erika losing her mind today? And there's a reason. There is a reason. Like many of my guests, Charissa's path to where she is now is not linear. She had some other things she was doing in her previous life. So, Charissa, can you give us a little peek into where you were before you became the money guru?
Yes, I've been a sign language interpreter, hence the reference to sign language and putting my name in sign, which was pretty cool. I have been an interpreter for 16 years, and when I got married, I remember one moment where I was at the grocery store. I'm right next to the flour and the chocolate chips, and I was struggling to hold back tears because I had just counted up my grocery cart and realized I had overspent again. I was so frustrated with myself because I felt like I should know what I'm doing. I'm an adult, I'm married, but it was such a stressful thing for me, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how I was doing it. And so I'm newly married. We both brought debt into our marriage. I had my car loan, he had his student loans, his credit cards, but the burden fell upon me because I was working to put him through school. And I'm working as a sign language interpreter, which means my income is irregular. It's all over the place. I'm supporting my family. I'm trying to figure out how to pay for school. And all of this money thing is completely stressful. But somewhere in the middle of all of that, I had this small little dream to see my husband graduate completely debt-free. Now, I had no idea how we were going to do this. Like I said, my income was irregular. We had the debt. Money was super tight. And then I had to try and figure out how to pay for school. So I stumbled along the best I could until about 2 years later, I looked up and I realized if we could come up with a couple $100, we could be debt-free by the end of today. So I had my husband come in. I had him click the submit payment because, it was his student loan. And as I watched that balance drop to zero, I didn't realize that moment on March 17th, 2010 would be a defining moment in my entire life. Now, money still stressed me out, even though I was debt-free. But I noticed immediately that there was incredible peace of mind, even as I was heading into a slow work period. And that made me want to figure out how to handle money better, wiser, because it was stressful. And I'm the type of person like, okay, enough is enough. we got to get rid of the stress and figure this out, because I can't live my life like that. So I leaned into wisdom from the Bible on how to handle my finances, because that's how I order my entire life. And as I started applying these principles, I was able to figure out this budgeting on a regular income, figure out over the next couple of years, we turned around and saved up $79,775 to pay cash.
Wait, in a year, you saved how much now?
In the next few years.
Okay.
It wasn't 1 year.
Okay.
And I didn't start out to pay that much. It just, it was one semester at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was friends and family were like, Charissa, how did you pay off the debt? How are you paying cash for school? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
So I just started sharing these tips that I was learning, that I was applying in my own life with them. And I saw that it was working for them too. And so it was at that point I dedicated my life to helping other women who are where I was, scared and stressed out about money, helping them to simplify money so that they can handle it with confidence and have peace of mind.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah, I can see people like knocking down your door to want to figure out what your secret sauce was, to get that done. That's amazing, especially with the rising prices of student education, student loans, all that kind of stuff right now. So, okay. So you went from being an interpreter to having this, newfound skill set of being able to manage money. So did you sort of, I guess, consult with people while you were doing your full-time?
So I continued interpreting full-time so that was 2010 when we paid off our debt. And I continued interpreting full-time until 2019. And then like 2020, I kind of went down to part-time. Okay. But I was doing the interpreting on the full-time. And then I was building up my Change Your Finances business, helping other women on the side, and kind of doing both at the same time.
Gotcha. Now, are you only focusing on women?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So my main message is for women. I talk to women because I think women have very specific fears and concerns about money. And I just relate really well to women. But I also know that as I help her, she is going to be bringing her husband in or her spouse in, and it's going to be helping the entire family. In fact, I have several women who come back and they say, we watched your videos, we went through your stuff together, and we're on board together. We're finally sticking to a budget together, and we're reaching our goals together. So it does impact guys too, but my main message is for women.
Gotcha. Do you find that money's an easy topic for women to come to you about? I mean, are they kind of timid at first? Do they kind of like tiptoe to the conversation? What does that kind of look like for women?
When I see them, when they come to me, they're in a really hard place. It's really stressful. They don't know how to manage their money. They feel like there's not enough. They have debt coming out of their eyeballs, and like they just feel like they have no savings. And so they find me because they're kind of like in a crisis moment, and so at that point, I do see a lot of women who are willing to I don't care if this is taboo, again, this is stressful and we need to do something about it.
Right.
And I'm really able to help them. But then there's also some who come to me and they desperately want to change their finances, change their lives, but they are still being held back by money fears or, feeling like they're not organized enough, that they don't have enough money to budget. And so we work through those things too.
Okay. Awesome. So when you think about, again, the taboo money word, I mean, what's I guess the biggest struggle that you see your clients have? Is it the skill of budgeting? Is it understanding the technicalities around finances? What's really seems to be the biggest issue?
I think that one of the biggest struggles is a lot of women just don't know how to manage it. I see a lot of, we think it's all our fault. Like, I'm the only one who can't figure this thing out, and we beat ourselves up. But let me tell you what I've seen across the board. We all feel that way.
I'm not alone.
Yes, you are not alone. Like, I totally can relate and understand. I have been where you are, but so has everybody else in my community.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, you probably weren't taught. You probably didn't have good role models growing up around who handled money wisely and taught you how to handle it. Or maybe they were really good with money, but they didn't teach you. Mm-hmm. And they just came off on the message like, you can't do it. You're not good at, like, and so we internalize those messages from our role models, from our parents growing up. And then when we make mistakes, because, hey, you make a mistake if you don't know what you're doing. We all do.
Right.
But we internalize that and say, okay, I'm a failure. I'm disappointing my family. I can't get this. I'm not going to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing that I've found, and I have a couple of things, like the power of an intentional plan for your money changes everything.
Right.
When you have a simple plan to follow, you have a system to follow. Like, money management is a skill that none of us were born with, but it's one that we can all learn and we can all improve.
Right. Yeah, I remember in school, the only thing that we got around managing money, we pretended we were in the stock market, with fake money. And then they had us balance a checkbook. And that was really like the extent of it. And then kind of what you learn from your family. And I think one of the best things I learned in my very first job where I got some real money was my boss was like, you have to remember to pay yourself, along with your tithes and like your savings or, well, your expenses, save for yourself from jump before you even, start buying some shoes and some red bottoms, things like that. So that was really key for me to sort of get that financial mindset going, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And what a blessing that you had that boss tell you that at the beginning, because a lot of women don't have that. Mm-hmm. Until they come to me, and then I can tell them, hey, let's get everything in order. Mm-hmm. Because when you get your finances in order, your life changes.
Right.
You're now able to be confident in handling money. You're able to take care of your family. Your family relationships change because, hey, when you're not stressed about money, everybody else is happier.
Right. Right.
And then you're also able to use your gifts and impact those around you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think, even taking that even further, is when you mentioned like parents may not have taught people or their kids how to manage money, now you have the chance to sort of pay that forward to your kids. Absolutely. So now they come up in a better financially educated state, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Well, and the power of you working through your own finances and being transparent with your children, mm-hmm. They can see you get rid of the debt, learn how to budget, saving money, and that does impact and influence your children.
Right.
In ways that you have no idea.
Right. Right. Do you suggest, I don't have kids, but this was always in my head. Do you suggest parents do something different in terms of like, here's your allowance? Like, in my head, I'm seeing like this game of here's your allowance, but here's 401k taking this much out. And here's, what are your thoughts about kind of role playing things like that with kids to help them understand kind of what life is going to be like?
I don't have kids either, and my audience is kind of mixed on they give allowance, they don't give allowance. Mm-hmm. But what I think is important is I think you should tie money to mm-hmm. work, and that you should also tie money for your kids to 3 things, like giving, so tithing or, some sort of giving, saving, and then doing something fun.
Okay.
And so having those mindsets from the beginning really help shape, and then you can guide your children like, oh, you want a car? Okay, what kind of car do you want? Well, we're not buying a brand new one. Let's back that down. But you're at 8 years old, and if you want a car at 16, let's start saving for it. So there's a lot of different ways you can handle it. Personally, when I do have kids, my husband laughs at me and makes fun of me all the time, but I'm like, they're going to be working at the time they're 5, and they're going to be earning money and not necessarily giving them just an allowance. They have to do something to earn it.
At 5?
Got to start them young. I mean,
I'm all in for you. I like that.
But no, my husband gives me such a hard time about that. He's like, what are you doing?
That's interesting. Okay. I have to ask this question because it's personal to me.
Okay.
We were talking about budgeting, and I'm going to be honest. I hate budgets.
Yeah.
I do. They frustrate me and they drive me crazy. So,
I hear you.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I thought budgeting was, and maybe this will make you feel a little bit better. When I was all stressed out about money, I thought budgeting was taking my receipts and throwing them on my desk until it was this huge pile of receipts that are falling off onto the floor. Then I clear a whole Saturday, and I'm trying to read these crumpled, faded, white number that you can't even read.
Right.
And figure out where my money had gone for who knows how many months. And there would be tears. My husband would totally avoid me. And it was so stressful. Mm-hmm. That is not budgeting.
Right.
So we can all breathe. A budget is simply an intentional plan for your money where you're in control and you're telling your money where to go ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And that's all it is. In fact, I actually have a free worksheet for you guys. So I'm going to go through a little bit of my favorite budget method. Ooh. But you don't have to take notes because you can go get the worksheet. It's at changeyourfinances.com/by-design.
Okay. And don't worry, guys, that address is going to be in the notes. So you will be able to get there for your free budget tool. So
yes, I know. I always want to tell people, like, don't take notes, just listen, because you can get that. But so I like having a prioritized budget.
Okay.
And which is something that I've developed over the years because budgeting was really stressful and I hated it, to be honest. I was with you. So what is that? It's putting 4 essentials first. It's taking your income and subtracting all your expenses. That's the basics.
Okay.
4 essentials first. Food.
Need that.
Lights and water. Housing and transportation.
Food, lights and water, housing, and transportation. Okay.
Because how many times do you get to the last week of the month and you have no money for groceries? Mm-hmm. And you wonder if you can make your mortgage or your rent. And that's stressful. When you can take care of these basic needs, which I'm pretty sure most of us can do that, even if you feel like you don't have enough money, you can take care of those things. When you do, a ton of money stress just falls off your shoulders and you can breathe. The second thing that makes up the prioritized budget method is after these 4 essentials, you list all of your expenses and then you say, okay, if I have money for one more thing, what goes next?
Ooh.
And then you keep asking yourself all the way down. Now, the reason why I love this method is because, 1, your basic needs are taken care of. So there's that stress out of the picture. 2, it shows you that you actually have more money than you think you do. And if you had a unexpected expense show up and you're like, oh, these tires, like, what am I? So at the bottom, because we ordered everything in order of priority. So at the bottom, those are things that are nice to have, wants to have, but not have to have.
Right.
For example, I have clothes. I love clothes, cute clothes, but clothing is at the bottom of my budget because I have plenty.
Right.
So if something comes up, like I need tires, I need a tire, that just blew out, I start from the bottom and I take that money that was to be used for clothes and I put it on hold for that month.
Okay.
And I keep going up the budget until I have enough money. But I also like to be able to plan out like these car insurance. I do mine every 6 months.
Okay.
So I like to have I take that 6-month amount, I divide it by 6, I
Right.
put each smaller amount into my monthly budget. And then I put it into a savings account.
Okay.
So that way I have the money when the bill comes due and I don't have to scramble for it. So budgeting can be really simple and highly effective. And this is the other great thing. Okay, so it's easy to set up, especially with that worksheet that I give you. And then it's super easy to stick to because 95% of it is the same from month to month. A few
Right.
things will change if you have a lot of birthdays or something coming up this month and you need presents. But most of everything will be the same month to month. And I have customers coming back and saying, Charissa, oh my gosh, this prioritized budget has changed our lives. We're finally able to stick to a budget when we never were before. And it really can be simple. And actually I had another one come back and say, oh my, this method is something that you really want to stick to and you really want to do. So if you hate budgeting, girl, I hear you. I've been there.
Yes.
I have been there. But what I found was I didn't have a simple plan that actually worked.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference.
And you're not telling me I have to give up my shoe habit. You're just
No.
saying that it falls a little bit lower on the totem pole.
Well, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't buy shoes that often, so yes, it would be low.
Yeah.
But for you, maybe that's something that's important. So, but with a budget, you get to be the one saying, okay, this is what's important for our family.
Mm-hmm.
So we put more money there.
Okay.
I'll give you an example that comes up a lot is eating out.
Ooh. Yeah.
I don't like to eat out because I like to cook. And I think I'm a better cook than what I can get. And so for me and my family, like our eating out budget is pretty small.
Okay.
But for you, maybe that's something how we connect over, Friday nights, we all go out, whatever it is, and that's important to you. All I'm saying is put a specific amount on it.
Mm.
And this is how much we're going to spend on eating out for the month.
Okay.
And then stick to it. And you can use cash, like pull cash out. This is my eating out restaurant budget or my shoes budget for the month. And so once this money is gone, it's gone. But in the meantime, I can spend and enjoy it because I have the money. Because I've already been intentional about all my other needs are covered. And this is the amount that we've agreed on for our family to do this. So we're going to just go do it and enjoy it.
Okay, gotcha. And you bring up something, I was going to ask about the whole cash versus credit thing. Do you suggest to your clients that cash is the way to go for most things, or kind of what's your take on?
So I don't like credit cards because
or debit cards.
Credit cards itself is stressful. Having that payment and having that debt. Now, some people say I pay it off every month, whatever. I know for me, like it was stressful. So I don't like credit cards. But here's the thing. It's been scientifically proven, whether you use a credit card or a debit card, swiping that plastic, your brain doesn't register that you just spent money.
Mm-hmm.
When I am like 20, 40.
Right.
I'm
like a physical reaction.
Exactly. And so if spending is kind of something that's you're like, I just keep spending, I don't know where the money is going, then I challenge you to use cash.
Okay.
On certain items, especially those items that are really, your shoes, or maybe it's Target or whatever it is, that's your Achilles heel. Mm-hmm. Take out the money in cash on that so you actually can see and feel how much you're spending. As far as myself, I do a mixture of cash and my debit card, but I'm also really intentional about like, okay, these are the regular bills that need to be drawn out of my checking account. So that money can stay in there. If it's money, like I said, car insurance, I put that, for the 6 months, I transfer it to savings, because I have found, and I transfer it to its own savings.
Okay.
Because I have found if I leave that money that's supposed to be car insurance money in my checking account, it grows wings and flies away.
Okay.
So I'm really intentional about, okay, what's in my checking account is money that actually needs to come out, and is for specific purposes.
Gotcha. So I've heard different things, and there's kind of, I guess, different trains of thoughts when it comes to bank accounts. And you mentioned, you have a checking account, you have a savings account. I hear people that have like 8 different accounts. What's the best option, or what kind of is your suggestion about that?
So you're going to laugh. I probably have like 27 savings accounts.
27?
Yep.
At the same bank?
Yep. I bank at a credit union.
Okay.
And so I can have as many as I want. And it drives the tellers nuts. But here's why I find it important for me. Because I can transfer that money for car insurance into its own savings account every month. I can look at it and I can see exactly how much I have. Same with Christmas. Same with replacing a car. Whatever you're working on, you see exactly how much. For me, when it was all like thrown into one savings account, I'm like, woo, I got money. But I forgot that 500 of that was for car insurance. Another 300 was for car repairs. Another, whatever, I'm totally making up numbers, but I forgot that all of this had earmarked for specific purposes, and you feel like you have more money than you do. So if I like having the separate savings accounts, now you can do separate savings accounts concept. There's several apps online like Envelopes. Envelopes is the online like cash envelope, concept. You have your envelope for all these different things, and you have a certain amount, and that does it digitally for you. Okay. So if you can do things like that, where you can see how much you have earmarked for specific things, then by all means do that. If it's easier for me or for you, like it is for me, to have, I just don't want to even think. I just want to look and say, oh, I have it, or I don't have enough. Right. So, okay. But it also is personal finance. What works for me may not work for you. Right. So you kind of have to figure out what is a good method. I will share you what works for me and what works for my community, what I have found. But, when it comes down to it, you need to take something and get what you can out of it. And if it just totally stresses you out, then find something else that works. There's so many options. Okay.
All right. And I like your prioritized budget because it's very simplistic. And one of the things that I found when I was budgeting or attempting to budget was I was trying like all these different tools, all these different apps, all these different systems. And it was just always overwhelming. So to have something that's just very simplistic would probably be very helpful. So,
yep. Well, and I felt like I had to stand on my toes, looking 37 degrees northeast. I felt like I had to do all these crazy things to try and make budgeting work, because I tried a lot of tools and apps and stuff. And so I hear you. Like, people make this complicated. Money doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, money doesn't have to be stressful. And I found a few things that make money stressful. When you have no idea where your money's going, and then you feel like never have enough. If you don't know how to manage it, if you don't have a simple plan, and also if you're not making progress towards paying down the debt, towards savings, and you feel like you're just spinning your wheels, those all cause money stress. But simple changes, things that you can do today, make a huge difference in today and in the future. It's like, I'm in Phoenix, so if I were to get on a plane and want to go to Chicago, but the pilot makes one slight change in his course, I'm going to end up in Atlanta.
Right.
Same thing with your money. It's small changes today that will change today, your family's life today, and it will also change your future.
Right. Love it. Okay. Now, in your budget, because I want to get a little bit of clarity, because you said assign something to your dollars. So do you recommend that we assign, like if our check is $1,000 a week, that I need to account for that entire $1,000 or?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes. And I like the $1,000 because even though I love numbers, it's hard for me to do math here on the fly. So
Right.
thanks for making it an easy number. If you have $1,000 that you're working with, as our example, I want you to list all of your monthly bills, the lights, the internet, all of the regular things. I also want you to put down any debt or savings goals so that by the end of it, you have your income minus all of your expenses equals 0. Which means I have decided where my money is going. Now, I will say, because a lot of people say, I have my budget, and then the kids need shoes, and then something happens. So there's a couple tricks for that. First of all, I have I call it a miscellaneous.
Okay.
And I keep it small because my goal is not to I just have this money. No. But it's a little bit of a buffer. If something costs a little bit more, you had to buy those shoes, you had to, whatever, and you have a little bit of room to work with. So that's one thing. I also like to get my regular monthly expenses down as low as possible.
Okay.
Because when that's down, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're really struggling with the debt, or, if you can get your regular monthly expenses down, for example, maybe there's a better deal on your internet, and so you switch companies. So maybe what you were paying was $50 before a month, and now you're only paying $39. So I like to keep that internet line item as $50. And the reason why is because I'm used to spending that.
Okay.
But if it's $39 now, so that's what, $11? So then I take that $11 and I transfer it to whatever I'm working on. So if you're paying off debt, I like to use another savings account. If you find any extra money, if you can skim off any money, you transfer into that savings account, then you're ready to make the payment. You can add any other extra money to your payment.
Okay.
Or your savings goal. I have extra money, let's just put it in there. And then that way I'm really intentional with where my money is going. And I have a plan for it. I like to plan for as many things as possible because I don't like surprises either. And a lot of things that come up as surprises or emergencies really aren't as emergent as we make them out to be. Christmas.
I'm really bad with planning for Christmas.
It's in December.
I really
December
am.
25th, and it's every year, right? So what I like to do is see how much I spent on Christmas and then divide it up by 12.
That makes sense.
Then each month I'm putting 1/12 of the money into savings, and then when it comes time to pay for Christmas, I have the money. And this works for anything, Christmas, or birthday. If you have a biannual insurance bill, or whatever. Breaking it up in smaller amounts and putting in the savings really makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna work on my Christmas issue. I really am.
So you have, so right now, what is it, July? So we have, let's say, August, September, October, November. Do we want to count December?
No, I want to be done. No.
You want to be done? Okay, so you have 4 months.
4 months.
So however much you spent on Christmas last year, that's a good starting place. Divide that by 4. That's how much needs to be in. And you could even squeeze July in there if you want. We're in the middle of July, so. Okay. And then by the end of November, you have all the money.
All right, we're gonna work on that's my task for this session. Even I get homework from my own show, so.
Well, and she gave it to herself, so.
Exactly. I don't mind. I'm always learning.
But that's what I found, like, back to the thing is that budgeting is just an intentional plan for your money.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do a lot of these things. I'm throwing out, I feel like I'm throwing out a lot of tips right now, but all of these small things that you do really do make a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. So you talked about, the regular bills, and initially you talked about your own experience of having an irregular income. And I know that a lot of people that are in the audience may be either entrepreneurs or maybe thinking about doing something else, side hustle or another job, whatever. How do you deal with that? Because it's already hard enough when you have just a paycheck, a routine paycheck coming to budget. How do you deal with that when you have sporadic paychecks coming?
So I love the budget method. I'm going to keep coming back to that. That works really well with an irregular income. Second, get your monthly expenses down as low as possible, because we know it swings up and down, right? And third, you want to set your budget, your regular expenses, based on your lowest month. So look back at the last 12 months. What is the lowest amount of money that comes in with my regular income? I base my budget off of that.
Huh, okay.
If I have a higher month, so let's use our $1,000 again. So if my regular budget is based off of $1,000, if I make 2,000, I pay my regular bills, but then with 1,000 extra, I have percentages. Some, if you're self-employed, some of it goes to taxes. Some of it goes into savings so that you can kind of like have I don't know what you call it. I always call it my summer fund, because that's when work was slow. And so I have a little bit of money saved aside for when months are really slow and I need to kind of balance it out. And then a percentage towards whatever you're working on. If you're paying off debt, percentage towards debt, or saving money or whatever. But I also like to have a little bit of, especially if, like for me, I had 3 months of money being really tight during summer. And at the end, you're like, I finally get money, and now you're like, I want to spend it, right? You want that relief. So I always recommend having some sort of percentage or dollar amount or whatever, something reasonable for what you want to do with your life and your finances that you can use for fun and to enjoy it.
Okay.
And then you can enjoy it, you can have that release, but it's a percentage. Or is, let's say, $100, I don't know, I'm making up numbers, whatever works for you guys. But you would go spend it, you go enjoy it, but then you have an intentional plan for the rest of the money. So you're not like spending all of your extra money and then you're like, I didn't make any progress on paying down that debt.
Right, because I went and brought 3 pairs of shoes.
So maybe buy 1 pair and put the rest of the money towards whatever you're working on.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
But I will say, with a regular income, I used to hate it because of all the swings.
Right.
But once I figured out how to kind of stabilize my income with my budget, I found having a regular income, being your own boss with the side hustle, where you're in control of how much you make, is a huge blessing. Because you can throw chunk money at that debt and get it down as quick as possible. You can put money into savings and you can do a big chunk. Why? Because you're in control of how much you work or how smart you work and how much money you bring in.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Have you, in your working with clients and working with, entrepreneurs or people that have irregular incomes, is there one pitfall or one roadblock that you see happen that you like, what we should avoid as entrepreneurs, like that we don't think?
When you get extra money and just spending it all, not having an intentional plan for that extra money when it comes in, that's the biggest thing. But if you say, and that's why I like my percentages. If I make 1,000, whatever I make over my regular expenses, 15% goes to taxes or whatever your tax bracket is. Another 20% goes towards paying down debt. And I'm totally making up numbers right now. but then you have a guideline. So whether it's $500 extra or whether it's $5,000 extra or $3,700, whatever the number is, you just do the percentages and then you allocate the money. Gotcha. And you don't have to think about it. You still have some money to do something fun, have that release, but then you're also still making progress on your money goals.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. I like that. Yeah. And that kind of helps also everything that you said, in terms of budgeting and prioritizing where your money goes, I think also speaks to one of the issues that you brought up earlier, where some people think, well, I don't make enough money to budget.
Yeah.
You can always budget with what you have. You don't have to be a millionaire to budget.
And if you think that you have to have this magic number to budget, you're never going to get there. You're always going to have not enough. When you are intentional and you take back control, and that's when your money is kind of going in and out and you have no idea, you always feel like there's not enough, and that's stressful. But when you're like, okay, this is my plan. And when my story first started and I didn't have much money and we were paying for school and we were paying off the debt, like money was really tight. I would make pennies scream before they leave. But I look back and I say, okay, if I hadn't set up a budget then, when I really had to, and it shows you where your money is going, so you see that, one, I have more than I think I do. Two, oh, I'm spending that much on whatever.
Right.
Maybe we can cut that back. And if you're not in control then, because I feel like you really need to be in control when you're barely making it. Because otherwise you're just going to spend because you try and you just feel like you need a reward, and you're just going to keep spinning your wheels, and it's going to be really, really stressful. So if you like that, then don't budget. But I haven't met a single person who likes that whole cycle and likes that stress and likes that panic. And when you set up a budget, you're taking back control. You're deciding what's important. You're taking care of your family's needs. Like, all of these steps seem so simple, but they are really taking down the stress notches by notches.
Right. It's almost like a mindset thing too, because you hear budget and it's like restricting.
Yep.
Whereas you're looking at it from the perspective of not restricting, but directing and controlling your own money and where it's going. So it gives you the power back as opposed to the money having the power over you. So
yeah, and it's a roadmap to follow. If you want that dream house of yours, how are you going to get there?
Right.
Sticking to a budget, and this method is super easy, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. Like, oh, I hate budgeting, when it's complicated and whatever. So I made this, but you know where to go, how to get to where you want to go. And a budget was key in helping us pay cash, all that $80,000 in cash for school.
Right.
If I hadn't been so strict on my budget, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
That's awesome. So you have the budget tool.
Yes.
Within your company. What other things do you do for your clients?
Well, I have several digital products, ebooks, online classes, and in fact, I have a whole system, that you can get several of those products for one price. And so that's what I have to offer. But I also am building I'm not sure when this is going to be launched. It's soon. So with this, I'm building a free community, Facebook community for women to talk about money, a Facebook page. And so it's not quite ready yet, but it will be ready in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
But so if you want to come over to change your finances on Facebook, or send me an email or something. I will make sure to let you know when that opens. But I'm just opening that up as a safe place for women to talk about money where it's not taboo or where their friends aren't looking at it. And on the main Facebook page, and we can encourage each other. I already have a ton of women on my page who follow me who are just so encouraging, so supportive, and just have so much advice. We're all in this together.
Right.
You're not alone. And so I'm building that community. So this is actually the first time I've actually announced that publicly.
We love exclusives.
Yep, it will be ready. I'm hoping next week, but I'm going to give myself 2 weeks just in case, things happen with all the things set up. So come over to my Facebook page, follow me there, and then you'll be the first ones to know about that Facebook community when it comes up.
Okay. Awesome. Yay. I love hearing new juicy stuff. It makes my day. And I didn't know you had, you said webinars or videos.
So I have online classes. I have a whole class on 7 simple steps to make an easy monthly budget, where I walk you through exactly what I talked about. If that worksheet isn't enough, if you need more examples, more details, then that 7 simple steps to make an easy monthly budget class is available, and it's really helpful. I also have a regular income 101, and that's a series of small little video lessons, and it also has worksheets. I love worksheets. So those are I have a pay off your debt challenge. So this is a kind of a hybrid. It has a really powerful workbook on helping you create a plan to pay off the debt. And it also has videos that explain each step, and then a ton of encouraging videos from other women who've paid off their debt and tips and tricks on how to do it. So those are my video components. Otherwise, I have several ebooks, printables. You guys, and it's all simple. It's all simple. It really does work. A lot of customers come back and just say, this was so helpful. So
good. Awesome. I'm going to have to check out, I'm going to dig deeper into your website, Charissa, to see what else is there.
Well, I can send you the links too. And you guys, and that's the thing, swing by Instagram or Facebook, send me an email. I really do love connecting with you. And my passion is to see you, especially women, if you're scared and stressed out about money, my passion is to give you the simple tools to simplify money, to watch you handle it with confidence, have peace of mind, because I know when that happens, you change, your family changes, and you're able to use the gift that God has given you to impact those around you. Right. And so this whole transformation is not just about making the numbers balance. It's not just about having enough money to cover an emergency. It's a ripple effect, and it changes people's lives when you get control of your finances. And so that's what I want to empower you with. But if you are struggling with it, have a question, reach out to me, because I do absolutely love connecting with you and helping you get past that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for changing our money conversation to money conversation that we're going to take control of. That was awesome. I hope you guys got a lot of tips from this. And like I said, we'll be sure to put the different details on our page. Now, Charissa, we cannot let you leave without having you do our Fab Four.
Before I do the Fab Four,
go ahead.
Can I share one last thing?
Yeah.
So the proudest moment of my entire life, I'm sitting there in the crowded stands, air horns are blowing, and my husband is walking across that stage in his cap and gown, completely debt-free. So proud of him, but so proud of us, because we had been able to pay off our debt. We were able to save up all that money and pay cash for school. And along the way, I conquered my money fear, and I started handling it with confidence and peace of mind. And I'm not someone special. If I can do it, you guys can do it. I have the tools for you, But I just want to let you know that you can change your finances. You can change your life. And it all is simple, doable steps that anyone can do.
Aw.
All right, now I'm ready for your fab.
Well, now I have to ask a question.
Okay.
What is your husband's degree in?
He's a software engineer.
Okay. Just, you may have said that. I just want to know. All right.
So we got a good return on investment, a good
Right.
ROI, but
Right.
it was a journey for us.
Yeah. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Okay. Fab 4.
Hit me with it.
Okay. Very simple. First thing comes to your mind, nothing difficult. And we'll just go with it. All right. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
I think right now I would just make sure that women can conquer their money fear. That's my superpower that I want.
You have that superpower.
Well, I want to help 100,000 women.
All right. I love it. Okay. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Elizabeth Elliot. She is a very prolific author. I don't know if you remember, she was the wife of one of the missionaries in Ecuador, and all the men got killed. And I have read her books, and she was just very instrumental in my life, especially growing up. She has passed now, but I would love to have lunch with her. 2 more people. I would just say I love to have connections with any person, any woman. I think everyone has a story, and I just love connecting with you. I know that's kind of broad, but I just love people. I love women. I love hearing their stories, and everyone is just so incredible and just has so much. And so I just love learning from them. So that's 2, kind of big, a little cheating. The third one is, who would I like to have lunch with? I love having lunch with my hubby.
Oh.
I love going out on a date with him.
Okay. Elizabeth Elliot. Some women will interchange them out.
Yep.
And your husband.
Yep.
Okay. Love it. All right. If you could pick a song to represent your life, what would that song be?
That song would be Defender. It's a Christian song, and it's been powerful, and there's different themes in there, different phrases in there that have meant a lot to me in different seasons of my life, but put it all together, and that would be the song.
Who's the artist?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm horrible at that. I could look. I just know the song. I know the words, but I don't know who sings it.
That's fine. I'll find it. I'm making a list of all the songs that everyone says because I just think it's fascinating. So, all right. The last Fab 4, it's kind of cheating because it's a 3-parter.
Okay. It's Fab 7.
Right, exactly. This doesn't have the same ring though, Fab 4, Fab 7. Anyway, all right. Just finish these following statements. I love
to garden.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's something I wish I could do. Like, I kill all plants.
So. I'm not saying I'm the best at it.
Okay.
I mean, my plants are kind of a little shriveled and a little dry right now. I mean, it's hot. It's 116, but I do love to garden, and that's one of my goals. I want to garden better.
Gotcha.
At some point.
Gotcha. I have to get over the dirt and bugs because I'm not a fan of dirt or bugs. So.
Well,
aquaponics.
What about like water, hydroponic gardening?
Yeah. That's what I need.
No dirt, no bugs, inside.
All right. Charissa loves gardening. Okay. I dream of
buying a house with cash.
All right. I'm for that one. Yeah, definitely. All right. And the last one is I am.
I am. You really like to stump me. I would say I am thriving.
Okay. I love it. Thriving, amazing, wonderful. All those words could have gone for you.
Oh, thank you.
So, Charissa, thank you so much for being our guest today. Just shout out one more time, like your Facebook page and your website, so people
So
can.
I'm at changeyourfinances.com, and you can get the free worksheet at changeyourfinances.com/bydesign. I'm at Facebook and Instagram, both at Change Your Finances.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, again, we will put all those details everywhere so you can find them. They'll be on the website, they'll be on the Facebook post. So don't worry if you didn't catch all those details, we will provide them for you. And that's all the time that we have today. Again, Charissa, thank you for being here. Guys, if you've missed any of the previous episodes with all the amazing women that we've had, be sure to head over to our website, Dr. Erika by Design. You can catch all the previous episodes that we've done. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for our newsletter, the By Design Digest, so you can stay up to date with what's going on, upcoming events, great tips and tools so that you can continue to live your life by design. We hope we see you next Thursday, and we will continue to bring you more amazing women. So thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great day. Bye, guys.